No, I did an update, and you, remember how last time I was complaining that you did it, and it was like, hey, we're not doing anything, and then you had to like hit a button to do it.
Yeah.
Now it's the way it should be.
No, it's the way it should be, huh?
We should be coming in any minute.
In 3, 2, 1.
No countdowns. They make me nervous.
Yeah.
It's like Tony Stark. Don't ever hand me things. Don't. All right.
Well, you asked me to break the internet, and I evidently did.
You did.
It's not working, so I don't.
You did the one time you did your job. It popped right up when I saw it. Oh, hey, there it is. I see us.
Woo! In 3.
Yeah, see, there it was.
There's the echo.
We are on the internet, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Hi. Sorry. Hey, Kinder Thulu says, hey, bitches. What's up, Connor? Kinder Thulu's here early today. I think Kinder was here before we were.
I may be true.
Kinder Stark. Yep. Stark raving kid. So speaking of, I know this is probably way too early to talk about it. Did you guys see? I linked you to it. I think the Polygon article where you can read the first few chapters of the Dragonlance novel that comes out in August.
No
So
way.
that's a thing. And then I didn't realize this. I kept telling people because they released the cover art, and I'm like, that's Kinder. It's like, no, that's a Kinder. I'm like, that's Tass. That's Tasselhoff. And I was like, no, it's just some kind of halfling. No, it's verified. That is Tasselhoff Barefoot on the cover of the upcoming novel. I'm excited.
Crazy.
Yeah. And apparently it deals with time travel. And if you remember, Tasselhoff Barefoot did some time travel and glimpsed a wizard doing something, a certain wizard. I'm not going to say any names, but it rhymes with wrestling.
That's a horrible rhyme.
Public schools, Michael. Public schools.
But this time, do we get to stay on the moon for a little bit? That's all I want to know.
That's all I want to know.
No, what I want to know, and this is going to be we're hitting out of the gate hard. This is a really controversial question. With time travel, are we going to retcon some things that perhaps, depending on who you ask, TSR, Wizard of the Coast, whoever was in charge at that time, they wanted some certain things to happen, say like with a certain trilogy of books, moving forward from one age to the next. Are we going to retcon that and that never...
Are you talking about Fifth Age?
Yeah, exactly.
Man, Dragonlance Fifth Age was unique. They actually made a game for it that was card based. It had some books, but I just kind of fell through. I think mostly because people were mad that it was Dragonlance Fifth Age. I don't know, the time travel element makes it possible. I know it could definitely open up a lot of stuff for the tabletop.
There you go.
So have you read it yet?
I have read some of it. That's how
Where did you post it?
Busy I've been. I put it in our Grognard. We don't have a Grognard chat, ladies and gentlemen. The Grog Nerd chat.
Grog Nerd chat.
Am I right? I am so pasty. I need to block my window.
And by the way, for Patreon folks, that's not like a public channel yet. So, Grognard's Garage, who knows what kind of channel will pop up later, but it's not official yet.
We might make that Yeah, we'll make that a members only channel. You have to be a member, and then we'll gatekeep it. You have to have played AD&D 2nd edition at least once, and you have to hate New Coke. You have to like Coke Classic. And Wizard of Oz was better before it was colorized. Perfect. Grog Nerd Central right there. Everything older was better. You have to fill out a form, and it's a questionnaire. You have to explain tobacco. You have to explain tobacco.
In the snow, both ways.
Yeah, and you have to tell us, trick question, was dwarf a race or a class?
Yes.
Talk about onslaught.
I gave the answer away. Dang it.
What about the onslaught of my? Because I took what? I don't want to know germs. I'm pasty. I gotta get my lighting going in here. Black out windows.
I did see posted. Brooke, you saw Top Gun Maverick.
I did.
I saw Top Gun Maverick on Tuesday. With my wife.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the original.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of the original.
Not even the volleyball scene?
Oh, there was just a bunch of testosterone. It's like, who
So I
cares?
was saying, not even the volleyball scene?
Nothing.
I mean, I used to chew gum in such a boring way until I saw Iceman chew gum. Now I chew gum like a stud.
No, I had no interest in that. And no. This one, though, I gotta say, they did it right. They did it right, and it was really good.
Nice. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard there's a fan theory that Maverick is dead the entire movie. like it's a I see dead people thing where Bruce Willis was dead the entire time.
Yeah.
There's a theory that
But Germs, you're absolutely right. Maverick was a great sequel, and you don't always get great sequels. Although I've noticed a lot of times these sequels that come out like 20, 30 years after the original actually tend to be fairly good.
Yeah.
Because I think they have to take their time. It's like we're not in any hurry. It's when they go, oh, this one made $1 billion. Now we got to make number 2 and 3 and 4. We're all starting writing them now.
Yeah.
Produce them in 6 months. I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then it's gonna suck. But if you got 30 years to produce it, I mean,
Yeah. If Johnny hasn't seen it yet, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a scene where an actor walks into the scene, and I literally mumbled, "No way!" Like, because I just couldn't believe how well they paired his lineage, right?
I agree. Yeah,
it was 100%. I was like, wow.
It was exact, and I was like, and I don't know if they, I'm not sure exactly who the actor is, but he's been in other things. So I it might have been, maybe it was the mustache. I don't know, but it was very impressive, and the entire movie just and it hit me a lot in the feels. I got to say,
yeah, it's great. It was a good movie. It was a good movie. I was the target audience back when that came. I don't know when was the original? 1986, maybe.
It was 1986. And here's the thing: Kimberly and I, my wife and I, rewatched it on Monday. I hadn't seen it since it came out.
Wow!
And I only saw it on video. And I am so not the target audience for that show. I am, and I wasn't in '86, and so.
I'm driving way too fast. I'm driving way too fast. Playing Highway to the Danger Zone. That was me at that time period. So
I'm listening to Morrissey and the Smiths and the Cure and Depeche Mode, and I don't care about this.
Well, progressive music. Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm not. I don't. Got it. It's just way too much testosterone for me. I was like, whatever.
So Onslaught, Germs was mentioning, September 2022. Yes. It comes with 21 fully painted miniatures. That's the first thing I go for. Is it's like, this game has its money's worth in painted miniatures.
Yeah.
But if the game's terrible, you've got miniatures, tokens, terrain elements.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. For Pathfinder, the beginner box comes with sheets and sheets and sheets of those cardboard stand-up tokens. I've used for that and for Starfinder. I've used those for so many games in a quick pinch. Running league games at Game HQ back in the day, it was like, oh crap, I don't have enough minis for this, and I just grabbed that box and started popping them out at the table. They're a great fit for anything. But I like this. I like what I've seen of it. My fear is they're going to make it and leave it alone when it needs to be nurtured and have little expansions put out, even downloadable scenarios for free. Like cool. Fantasy Flight does that for a lot of their games. It's like, hey, you bought the game, now come to our website next month and download these 2 or 3 free scenarios and these extra cards you can print out or whatever. And they need to keep it alive and keep it going. It looks a lot like, not a lot like, but it looks similar to, and I have it over there, Magic the Gathering made a competitive board game for up to 5 players that involved minis, and they had great minis in them, and it was cool as a base game, but it needed more, and they never got around to it for like over a year. And then when they started marketing it, there was zero interest. People were like, well, this game's on my shelf for a year because I got burned out on it because you took way too long to support it. So So if they can support this and keep it going, and it's a WizKids thing, so I'm sure they will. Yeah, I'm pumped about it. Looks good.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because it goes with two. It starts with 2 factions, so there's got to be faction releases of more minis, more card abilities, more terrain. Because different factions would have different environments and stuff. But yeah, it looks good.
Germ says, "I hope there's a competitive scene."
Yeah, that would be.
It's going to have to. Otherwise, I would love to. If it's at 5e rules and doing like Warhammer type stuff, I'll go to
Game HQ,
or to Edmund Unplugged and play it. Sure, but there's got to be.
So
there's got to be people who are going to go out and do that.
Here's what we got to do. Here's what we all as a group and in chat have to do.
Okay.
When Star Wars Legion came out, the miniature game that wasn't ships and starfighters, that was just, it was dudes. I really pushed for the store to hold a demo if they got a pre-release copy. And they did. Yeah. So they put it in their flyer, they put it on their website, they put it on Facebook and tweeted it, and it drew attention, and people showed up. And because it was a pre-release and the game wasn't out yet, people were showing up with custom terrain they made at home, where they went and got like models of AT-ATs and kit bashed them to look like the surface of a planet where it had been struck down by like a ship, and people brought like the really nice custom terrain. And then when the game launched, they had it run for a while, and it kind of lulled a little bit because in the first wave they released everything all at once, and so everyone bought everything all at once, and then there was nothing new to look forward to. But it's picked back up. The community makes it competitive. Now, if we make it competitive in the OKC metro area, does that mean it's going to be big in the tri-state area? We're going to see it at the bigger cons. Is it going to be big enough in the bigger cities to make them keep pushing it? But if you want a local competitive scene, over half of that is you. You getting out there and talking to your local stores and pushing for it to happen. And Game HQ's got those great tables for miniature battles, and their tables for Warhammer are great for games like this, because for Legion that's 2-player only. You could set up like you and I are playing up to the middle of the table, and then the other half of the table is another group playing.
Right.
So you fit more people in.
Edmund Unplugged, their back area has just massive tables.
Yeah.
They do miniature battles all the time.
Yeah.
So, and I've not gotten into Warhammer just because I don't have the money to.
Kinder and I got into it, and I bought a bunch of minis, and I painted them. And Kinder's a really great mini painter. And then it was just 2 reasons I got out of it. It was super expensive. I got a Father's Day gift like 5-6 years ago of a starter set, and it was nice and it was cool. Well, then I went to play it, and there's a lot of people who are like, well, we're not going to play official rules, because I went to the dollar store and I bought some army men and a plastic model of a Jeep and just kind of melted it all together to make my army. And my rules are illegally downloaded PDF from the internet, and I'm going to pretend I have this $500 miniature. And I want to play with people who really own the game, who've, not trying to cheat the system. I understand some people can't afford it and stuff, but I wanted to play at a competitive tournament level, and that was, it was either that or the people who've been playing it for 10 years, and you're just not going to catch up with them.
Right, and that's the other reason why I want to really push for Onslaught, is because it's brand new for everybody. Whereas I can't join Warhammer right now. There's guys who've been doing it for 20 years, and I don't want to try and catch up with them.
Yeah.
I want to start with something that's brand new, make it strong, so that maybe at SoonerCon next year we have an organization that's willing to go and play at SoonerCon. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
A lot of it really starts with just make a Facebook group and call it the Onslaught OKC Metro Gaming Facebook page, and that's where people will go to find out where. And it's as simple as, hey, 6 of us are going to show up at this store to play. Do y'all want to do it? And eventually the store is going to say, hey, you're bringing them in. Let me support it now, and I'll give. Even if the company isn't doing game support, the store might say $10 store credit to the winner or something.
Yeah. Game HQ, and correct me if I'm wrong, because terrain has never been my thing, but they even have like shelves in the back where you can borrow terrain and stuff, right?
Yeah. All on their back wall in their game room, which is like the size of a neighborhood Walmart, basically. They've got half of it is games just on a shelf you can just pick up and play. It's their library, and then the other half of it is various terrain from like modern day cities to like sci-fi stuff to old fantasy ruins and forests and it's really.
What I'll try to do is I'll try and push, because if there's not, it sounds like you don't need a DM for this. It is just
it's me and you. It's like Magic the Gathering or something.
Is it like 2 or more, or is it just 2 people?
As of right now, it's just 2 people. Surely, if they expand it with 2 more factions, they could add rules to make a 3rd person or what have you.
Yeah.
But if it's like, well, I have a gaming group of 6 people, we'll break up into groups of 3 and play each other, and then and I'm sure it'll become more customizable too. So that's the big key point. If they make it where you buy the big box, and then if you want to, you can go buy this fraction of a cost smaller box that has 2 or 3 extra guys in it with 2 or 3 extra cards and 2 or 3 extra abilities to customize your army.
Yeah, but if it's Wizards of the Coast and it's D&D, can I use? I mean, I would still need the Onslaught box, but can I also use all these miniatures I have sitting in the back over here?
So I think probably what would happen is you open the box and you pull up a mini and you're like, hey, this mini is a wizard. It's actually Jyn Erso from Rogue One. But you pull it up and go, hey, this miniature is a wizard, and then here's all the wizard cards and everything I'm going to use its powers and abilities. But this one's ugly. I'm going to put it down and use this one instead. Sure. But you can't say, I don't own that wizard because I haven't bought the expansion for it, but I'm going to pretend this is. Yeah, I'm sure you can swap out for effect for just prettiness.
They're going to have the stat card or whatever to go.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it depends on how measurement and line of sight work. If the base size is standard base size, then there you go. Anyway, if the base size is standard base size, then yes. If they're hex bases and you're using round bases, somebody might nitpick line of sight, advantage, disadvantage for measuring things.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to look.
We'll see in September.
I'm pretty sure they'll probably be compatible with other Wizards of the Coast miniatures.
Or WizKids miniatures, yeah, for sure.
WizKids miniatures, yeah.
Would that be cool to have like Red Dirt D&D game night at Game HQ or Edmund Unplugged? That would be pretty cool.
My only problem is I don't have a night free. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convince everybody who has afternoons off to come join me.
That's successful. Game HQ does a Wednesday afternoon Magic. Or they did pre-COVID, where instead of it being a late night thing, you could play in the afternoon competitively.
I also don't want to play Magic.
Well, I know. What I'm saying, but they're just people that have that schedule.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But there's precedent for afternoon games. Yeah, that's cool.
So I'll throw it out on Facebook or whatever. Say, hey, I'm going to play in the afternoon on Wednesday afternoon.
But if Wizards of the Coast nurtured this, if Wizards of the Coast nurtured this could become a huge thing for them, because then they would have the minis aspect of gaming under the D&D umbrella, and it would be just more, and you would get instant buy-in from so many people.
Yeah, you bet. Well, that's just the folks who would buy the game, as we were talking earlier, for just the minis.
Yeah,
they're cool.
Like, I'm going to buy it and see what it's like, and if I don't like it, there's minis and terrain.
Yeah.
Minis and terrain for
whatever the price is. Yeah, it's WizKids. It'll be cheap.
I've been falling behind here. So we're talking about Onslaught. We also did mention Ghostbusters Afterlife. Haven't watched that yet. I know it's on Stars or something like that, so I can watch it. I just haven't had a chance to yet. I'm enjoying Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Very good. I've seen 1 and 2. I haven't put 3 on my schedule. I might be doing that after we're finished here. But I've heard episode 3 has something big.
Yeah, it's huge. But episode 1 and 2 were also very good. The girl they got to play Mini Leia is phenomenal.
She's great.
She is so good. And you know, my wife was like, she's so tiny. And like, so was Leia.
Yeah, she's thin and small and short.
Carrie Fisher was tiny.
Yeah.
And so
somewhere on the internet, someone posted, the little clip of when she's in the detention cell and Luke pops in. I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to save you. And she's like, who? And he's like, I'm here with Obi-Wan Kenobi. And she just pops up, right?
Yeah.
And so that we see that maybe we see this where that connection that builds at some point. So
yeah. It's no, we're not talking. We don't have any spoilers, Kinder. I promise. No spoilers.
Oh man, when Obi-Wan kills Luke, that was just mind blowing.
Yeah.
It's like,
but it's very good. I do highly recommend it. I'm looking forward to the next, I guess, 3 episodes, which is
golly.
Only 6 episodes. That's tiny.
Yeah,
it is. It's just a little snapshot.
And what's crazy is it's the most watched. It had the most watched Disney Star Wars series debut. So I'm almost wondering if the bean counters in the ivory tower are going to go. Wait a minute, let's rethink this. Maybe next year we come back and do it again with season 2 because it's supposed to be just these 6 episodes and they're done.
Well, but it depends on whether Ewan McGregor wants to come back and do it again. I mean,
yeah.
The guy is actually quite busy. He does actually have, other
It's
gigs
Star
going on.
Wars. Call in sick.
Yeah.
Let your understudy go on. No, never let your understudy go on. You know why?
Never let your
You know why? I let Connor go on. Look at the mess we're in now.
And now who's the most beloved?
That's right.
It's still Carrie, actually.
It's still Poppy. It's still Poppy, yeah.
But Connor is coming in a close second.
Yeah, for sure. He can have it. He can have it. Connor, you're still with us in chat, buddy.
Yes, he is.
Fantastic.
Oh, see, Connor, I'll get you. Yeah, we'll go play at Edmund Unplugged. Definitely.
Whee!
Yeah, and that's the cool thing is there were people who were like it's so busy or I can't make it, it's too far away, or like Thursday nights aren't good for me for like the Star Wars Legion that started a league and stuff, that someone said, it's kind of a push for me too. Would you like to play in Edmond on a different night? And then you get enough people saying yes to that, then you've got one night in on South OKC and then one night in Edmond, and some people make it to both.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing that I think a lot of us all have a mindset for, and that is you just lift the community. The more people that can play and the more people that are having fun, most of the time that's good for everybody.
Exactly. And what I love about it is the fact that it only takes 2 people to play. I don't have to go searching. The reason D&D is great. I love it, D&D. I would play D&D 24 hours a day, 7 days a week if I could. The problem is you got to have a DM to do that, and usually at least 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
And whereas this, it's just you grab someone else, boom, you're playing the game.
Well, it's like the Lord of the Rings meme I saw a couple days ago. Is it's like we'll play D&D on Friday. It's like you have my bard and my rogue and my wizard. Friday doesn't work for me. There's always that one person.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a push to try and bring back AL into the game stores, Connor. I think Mike's working on something that at Edmond Unplugged, and also bringing back a kids night to try and bring some new young people into.
Yeah.
But everything just fell apart with the pandemic.
You bet. Yep.
There's a strong presence on Wednesday nights at Game HQ.
Is it one you haven't felt in a long time?
It was one I haven't felt since. Oh, and then that all changes when you watch. Anyway, spoilers. Sorry, Kinder. No, so there was there's a strong presence on Wednesday nights at Game HQ for League play, but somehow, somewhere post-COVID, it turned into just come play. It's homebrew. It's not League. And I've even known that some people are going to Game HQ and playing homebrew on Wednesday nights and filling out the tracker sheet, and then taking it places saying, yeah, I played this character up to level 4. I played this character up to level 6 because it's being advertised. Homebrew game night is being advertised on a certain Facebook page that's named League, basically. If you really just barely kind of look at it under the hood, that's what. Yeah, because I was like, oh, League is back. I'm going to go in. And I went in and I sat down, and someone did something. I'm like, wait, they can do that in League? I thought did that change this season? And people just kind of looked at me like I was crazy. And then finally, someone was like, man, it's not League play. It's just homebrew. And I was like,
then you can't do that. That's
like 11 people but there's like 30 people up there Wednesday nights playing, but they're all playing at like 3 tables. Now I've heard in recent months it's changed and gotten better, and they're doing like 6, 7, 8 people at a table, and they got a few more people DMing to spread the love. But yeah, when the ball first got rolling post COVID, I went up there and it was seriously like 30 people at 3 tables just playing D&D. Yeah,
and maybe that's what they needed to jumpstart things.
Yeah, and they were playing the hard books. They weren't doing scenarios, which you can do hard books, but they're just doing the hard book campaigns willy nilly. Can I be this race from this Ravenloft, from this Ravnica book? Sure, you can be whatever you want to be. You can be whatever class you want to be. You can have whatever item you want. And then calling it League play. So, and the downfall is people who are new to it are going to get that and then go to a convention or go to a different store for an Extra Life event and be like, wait, I can't do what? I've been doing this for a year at my local game store, and it's going to be a shock.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with it. That's why it needs to be the same at every. Yeah. That's what League play is all about.
Before COVID, every table was full, and there were 2 or 3 that they were just there for their homebrew game. It was just a coincidence, but. And it was definitely kept separate from everything else, but yeah.
Well, and that's what we did with PB&J on Saturday nights was the AL night, and we had our group, we had our AL games, and then there were a couple of people that they did come in and play homebrew, but we knew they were playing homebrew, and they weren't trying to play AL, and I was like, that's cool. Yes, please come in, play your homebrew. There's nothing wrong with that, but don't then try to take that homebrew character and play them in an AL tournament or something like that.
Yeah. Well, cool.
Boom.
So, what else is going on?
What else is going on? Is it too early to start talking about convention?
No. Woo! You can. I've got 2 interviews down on Okie Geek Podcast already. So go to Okie Geek Podcast, wherever you get your podcast. You can listen to my interviews with Aslan and Amber about CinemaCon. And then I interviewed some other people about CinemaCon cosplay.
Yeah.
The New World Comic-Con. You know what I'm talking about? New World Comic-Con that's at the fairgrounds.
Oh, I was asking Kendra Thulu if the gaming shop in Del City was like the back room of New World. There's a New World Comics that's down there in Del City.
Oh. New World Comics?
As well.
The only New World Comics I know of is on 63rd and Meridian.
Yeah. There was one down there, kind of as a partnership or whatever. But anywho.
Germs, I'm light. I'm going to cut in real fast on the talk. Germs, I'm digging Diablo Immortal. I'm having a good time with it. Carry on.
Okay.
Sticky note, we're going to come back to that. But SoonerCon, so yeah, it's coming up June 25th, 24th, 25th, 26th. You bet. Scheduling isn't on the website yet, but
I don't think so. It could be.
Behind the scenes, Michael, you say that they're getting things coming soon.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And we don't know about the epics yet. Rumor mill is Epic 3 for D&D.
Epic 3?
Possibly tier 3.
Gotcha, yeah, okay, yeah.
The brain is tired, I'm here.
Possibly, and I also feel like a lot of cons and events don't mention this enough. Come play Dungeons and Dragons. We're having an epic. That sounds like anyone can come play it. You can't. You have to be in the league with a legal character of that tier.
Right.
So heads up, if you have a legal level or tier 3 character, come play in the epic.
Well, but but the epics are never just tier 3. You can't do that. You have to have a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3.
Right.
Sometimes they've had them all the way up to tier 4. So that way, yes, anybody can come play. But you're going to come in with, apparently the new rules is you can't actually roll up a level 5 character.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, not for epic.
Why not?
You can just come in and roll up. Like if you're playing League, you don't have to start at level 1.
Right.
But if you're playing an Epic, don't you legit have to start at level 1?
I don't think so.
On this? Oh, really?
If AL allows you to have a tier 2 character, yes, like that.
Well,
then it just I'm guessing that's the way it would be. But
okay.
I've got several tier 3s. I've got one tier 4, and so I would love to play them again because it's been far too long. But I guess I can't use Gaz, although he is technically tier 3 now.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing if we could pull that off, where we could be like the Red Dirt characters are league sanctioned.
It's the tail, isn't it? It's the tail that throws it all off.
That would be amazing.
Do they have pre-gens at SoonerCon? Can you sit down at a table with pre-gen and just jump right in?
Yep.
Awesome.
But
Yeah, they'll have pre-gens, but it's of course the thing I loved about Tier 5e was the fact that rolling up a character is so easy, even for a brand new player. Whereas, boy, I tried back in the mid '90s. Somebody sat me down and was like, "Hey, you want to play some D&D?" And I'm like, "Sure." And so we sat down and we started rolling up some 2e characters. An hour later, I'm like, man, I've had too much to drink. No.
Wow.
An hour to make these characters. I'm like, no.
I knocked out. I did take about an hour to make my priest. I played in an AD&D 2e game recently. By recently, I mean in the past few years. But it's because I also had the priest handbook and was using a couple of other splat books. I wasn't using just, but if you're using just the player's book and the DMG, seems pretty lickety split to make it. So we throw the splat books in. I was like making a Pathfinder 1 character right now where they say you can play whatever you want. You've got to get like 97 books. You know. At that point, you're on the web using an app making a character. Yeah.
Right. Well, that is the beauty of D&D Beyond as well.
Yeah.
It's the fact that it does make it a lot easier to build these characters.
That's true. We did have a D&D Beyond glitch for a little window, but it seems to have smoothed itself out, so that's good news.
I think it's when they had to unplug it and drive it over to the other part of Seattle and then plug it back in. I think that's what that was. Over to the other part of Washington, and that's all that was. It's like, go faster.
What do you mean wireless? I had to bring the whole CPU.
Right. Yeah. This is an interesting thought. Because I'm remembering other cons I've gone to in years past, it would be interesting to get some kind of organization that runs old games. So, go to SoonerCon and play D&D, and we got pre-gens, and this table over here is 2nd edition AD&D.
Yeah.
Or this table over here is 3.5. Did you ever play it? You've heard about it. So, there's your one shot. It's like, I've always wanted to play it, but my group doesn't want to. Or, well, hey, here's 5 other people signed up to play it, and you get a quick 2-hour session in, and then you can sit back and go, oh, that's what it was,
Yeah.
To the people who've never played it before, yeah.
That was when we were at the Epic, and Extra Life, and I finally got to play Pathfinder. I always wanted to play Pathfinder.
Yeah.
But you have to have a table that plays it, and thank goodness Will was there to DM us in a Pathfinder game.
Brooke and I have tables.
That's true.
I want to play in Brooke's Savage Tide game.
Oh my gosh, we are having so much fun. I tell you what, and they are brutal and efficient and
savage.
Sorry, I nerded on a moment. So anyway, but yeah, they're just great. I threw a T-Rex at them. I actually threw 2 T-Rexes at them. And the druid just did battlefield control with some quicksand, and then they got a couple natural 20s and the crit card. We play with crit cards, so pulled the crit card, and the monster was stunned, so lost its action that round. It was my poor monsters. They're just. They're like Strike Force Delta. They're absolutely crazy how good they are. So
that's how my Saturday group is. They are so amazing. They can just take down just about anything. Although they did have problem with two frog hemoths. It swallowed 3 of them.
That's awesome. I did get to swallow the monk. One of the T-Rex did get to swallow the monk. She was unconscious, and it was looking really, really, really grim. But they did save her, so that was really good. So anyway, but yeah, that's been fun. You could go to a gaming table and like pick up a little nostalgia, play some basic, some BECMI or something like that, and with just or whatever. That would be great. SoonerCon should be a ton of fun.
Yeah,
so I'm really looking forward to it.
Absolute blast. There's gonna be so much fun there. And for 3 days, just get your full membership for the weekend because there's going to be so much to do.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be an absolute blast.
Awesome. Circle back around, I got my sticky note. What is Diablo Immortal?
So, in 2017, at BlizzCon, a lead developer for Diablo got up on stage and said, "Hey, I'm here to announce the next game in the Diablo series." So there's like Diablo 2, 3, etc. You're thinking he's going to say it's called Diablo number. No, it's called Diablo Immortal, and the crowd goes crazy. Oh my god, new Diablo game, so awesome. Boom, heads exploding. Yeah, you're going to love it. It's going to be on I'm sure you're curious what platform it's going to be on, because they've been slowly coming out on console. And he's like, it's going to be on mobile. And got booed and stuff thrown at him.
Really?
Mobile only. So in 2017, mobile only is what they were saying. And so when everyone started booing him, he literally says, "You guys don't have cell phones?" And then it kind of ended, and you didn't hear about it for years. And then Blizzard went through the toxic work environment, getting bought and sold, the sexual harassment thing, firing the entire team involved with Diablo, hiring them, replacing them. And then a few months ago, they had open beta. And it released today. Some of us got it yesterday. And it's cool. They've also gone back, and I think they're releasing it like on Switch, and they're doing a PC version. I think Kinder Thulu said that he has it, maybe. But so they kind of wisen up. It's not bad. It's really beautiful. It feels, it's the controls of a phone, but it feels like, if you ever played any of the Diablo games, it feels like a Diablo game. Cool. Yeah, looking forward to jumping in and playing with other people. But it's just the next in line in the Diablo series, and they were just really pushing hard for the phone. Yeah, Jerem says it's worth looking it up for the video of the announcement. It is. Look up Diablo Immortal announcement whenever you're done with this, and just watch it. There's memes of like close-ups of the guy's face when the audience reacts to its mobile, and it's just, it's interesting.
Wow, that would be so tough. To have that high and low all within
it's your baby, and you think they're going to love this because they can play it everywhere. And what I call that someone who has too many yes men with them at all times.
Yes.
Because no one had the guts to say mobile games suck unless it's one you can pick up and put down. Because you can sit down and play Diablo for like 5 hours straight and does not stop. No one's going to hold their phone. I have a coworker who likes Diablo, and he's like, my phone gets hot if I use it for more than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's just but but Diablo Immortal, it's fun. Tell your friends, check it out.
I'll try it.
Post my gamer tag, my Blizzard tag. We've got a short episode today. Do we think we can knock out our top 3 in 15 minutes?
Yes, we can.
I bet we can.
Yes, we can.
Drum roll.
Drum roll. Somebody go first. Who was the last person to watch a Star Wars?
I
watched Kenobi. I watched Kenobi last night at 7:30.
That would be you then.
Okay.
Because I watched. Oh, wait a minute. I watched Obi-Wan Kenobi last night, but it was before my bedtime, so it was before 7:30.
Okay, so I watched it more recently.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brooke goes first. You go second. I'll go third.
I like it. Now, these are our top 3 Star Wars moments.
Original trilogy.
Only original trilogy.
And this I'm assuming that there's a moment that we're just going to have as the default, best ever. But I'll save that to see what other people do.
Yeah, I'm curious what everyone's number 1 is.
So my number three is I Love You, I Know.
Oh, which one?
Which one? Yeah.
Exactly.
Empire or Jedi?
I will say Empire, although the nod in Jedi is really nice. I like that more and more as I see it more and more often.
Yeah.
I feel like they didn't truly say it back to each other until they said it in Jedi when they flipped it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, really nice. So that's my number 3.
Okay. So my number 3 is Return of the Jedi, Luke appearing all in black as he walks into Jabba's palace. And the 14-year-old me went, yes, that's awesome.
Yep.
He looks so good. He's not the little boy from Tatooine anymore. He's a Jedi.
He is black. You know? Oh, yeah.
That whole opening scene of Jedi has more value, too, if you go back and read Shadows of the Empire. The story between Empire and Jedi. Yeah. So good.
It's incredible. That was my, and it still is to this, when he appears and he's like, oh, that's a Jedi.
Yeah. My number 3 is, it was a tie between the whole opening of Jedi with the rescue of Han Solo, or what I actually went with, which was the first appearance of the Imperial Walkers on Hoth.
Nice.
I was just like, my brain just went 10 million places the first time I saw that, and it was just like, these guys are, whoa! It's more than just like Vader and some ships, some fighter pilots. It's a pretty big deal.
I don't know that 8-year-old me knew an oh crap, moment, but yeah, that's the moment when you realize they are in big trouble.
Yeah.
Nice, that's a great one. My number 2 is when C-3PO and R2-D2 are in the control room of the Death Star, and we have the Stormtrooper bump.
It is bunk his head. Yes, we were watching. We were packing up my wife's room, and so we watched episode 4, and we stopped packing everything for that moment when the Stormtrooper bumped his head. Like, how did that not get edited?
It's just, I love it. That's my number 2 moment.
that is an absolute. That's classic. My number 2 is when we finally realize who Yoda is. When the music swells and I can't train him. He's too old, and
you hear Ben's voice.
Oh my gosh, this little goofy creature that's been running around is this Jedi Master.
Yeah.
Yes.
And of course, anytime Yoda's music, and I was going to put Yoda's death, but I mean, and that's still I can't watch it without cheering up.
Yeah.
So
it's good stuff.
But Yoda Unmasked was my second favorite.
Awesome, and I love that moment too, because if you were in isolation for so long, you would become a little bit, like Hermit Yoda, like talk to yourself and bug around and give that to me.
Watch the end of season 6 of Clone Wars. Yoda kind of starts tripping a little bit.
Yeah. Well, because in Clone Wars, he started to experience a lot more of the Force than
the metaphysical and the quantum. All right.
Number 2.
My number 2. Boy, there were so many things to choose from, and some of it I thought was like, well, this goes without saying, so I didn't pick them. But number 2 for me was Palpatine, was the Emperor showing up in person.
Coming out of the shuttle.
When the shuttle landed, and all the troopers are there lined up, and Vader meets them, and and they're walking, and it's like, oh wow, he's here. And it tied in so well whenever they had their briefing, and it was it was the whole that we've learned that the Emperor. What's my favorite Mon Mothma scene is we've learned that the Emperor himself is overseeing the final construction. Many Bothans died to bring us this knowledge. Many Bothans died to bring us... And there's a sadness from Mon Mothma. And I'm like, wait, were you doing one of the Bothans? I think her lover was Bothan. I really feel like Mon Mothma is... And we're going to find out in Andor, because that's Mon Mothma that we see in the Andor trailer if you've watched it. We're going to find out if it's like, oh, by the way, this is my boyfriend Henry, and then you look over and there's a cat-dog humanoid hybrid that's just cleaning itself, as you do. All right.
Terrible.
You're number one, Brooke.
My number one kind of circles back to Michael's number three, and it's loaded with nostalgia for me. My number one is when Luke looks at Vader's chopped off hand and then his own mechanical hand, turns around and says, "You're wrong. I am a Jedi."
Yeah.
And
I'm a Jedi like my father.
Like my father before me. Yes, exactly, right? And then, of course, like 12-year-old me, I think about that time I was 12, and then he throws the lightsaber down, and 12-year-old me is going, "What are you doing?" But it's perfect,
Yeah.
Yep. I am a Jedi like my father before me. And there's that moment when he sees, with that one action, he realizes everything that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I got to have a couple of honorable mentions. First off, the cantina scene.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the first. When I was a kid, you see all these alien forms. Before that, in movies, everybody was an alien. They all looked human.
Yeah.
Or humanoid. There were things out there that the Icthorian, the Deveronian. I mean, there are things that were like, wow. And that little mousy guy.
His name is Cade.
That was a good honorable mention. And also the Ewok battle. I might be the only person who loved the Ewok battle.
I love everything about Endor. Yeah.
Yes, the technology was not good enough. That's the problem. There's a bunch of teddy bears. Like, no, you don't understand. They're cannibals. The problem is we didn't have the technology to show an Ewok the way it was supposed to be seen. Mm-hmm. They are vicious mammal creatures that are smart and can kill you.
And eat you.
Yep.
Yes.
So they're not really teddy bears.
Once you know that, and then you watch the scene, thank goodness that Leia offered him something to eat, because he was like,
Wicket was going to take her down. But my number one is actually very close to your number one, Brooke. It happened in the exact same scene, but it's when where Luke is hiding from Vader, and Vader is basically reading his thoughts. And he says, maybe sister. So
perhaps
you have a sister. If she can't be turned to the dark side, maybe she will. And he just pops out with it, and the music just swells. I mean, I'm getting chills right now thinking about it.
Yes.
Do you know that is the first and only time in the original series that John Williams had vocals?
With the
wow.
Yeah.
No other time during the original series did he have this chorus going, and it was because that was Luke's moment where he could have turned to the dark side because of his anger.
Yes. And you know what? I would have loved. Go ahead. I'll come back to that. You go ahead. You finish your thought.
It's just the idea that there's all this, like the Force is screaming out to know you don't fall to the dark side, don't fall to the dark side. And that's every time I get chills, and it tenses me up because it's of course John Williams music mostly that does it. But that's why it's my number one without doubt.
I would have loved a George Lucas edit at that moment in which you connect that moment to, I'm wrong. And, it's like, haha, your hate has made you powerful, kill your father, finish your father, something, and then, join me, right? I would have loved Luke Skywalker saying, it's not hate, it's love, right? Because it's his love for Leia that just launches him out of the darkness, and he just starts to, but, I mean, you're right, chills. It's a fantastic scene. Great choice.
Okay, Johnny.
Commenting back on yours also, Michael, is when he comes out and he's swinging that lightsaber, the way the lightsaber battles looked then versus how they look now was part of the practical effect of the lightsaber. They weighed a ton because of all the cables and wires and everything going into them, and the actors complained about it. And Lucas was like, I want to see you struggling to wield it because of the power of the weapon in the world of the story. You're not just going to willy-nilly flick it around like it's nothing. You're going to have a hard time keeping it from wanting to do its own thing or move around or whatever. So yeah, when he came out, you could see those hard hits, and he was straining for it, and it was great. So honorable mentions that I have, I really liked the selection for the strike team on Endor. When they're sitting there talking, he's talking to Lando, and he's like, they must have heard about my maneuver at the Battle of Tanab, and that whole thing. And then he looks over at Han, and he's like, I wonder who they got is crazy enough to pull that off. And then Han's just like, my command crew's ready. I don't have a team, my team's ready. I don't have a command crew yet. And then Chewie pipes up, and like, of course me. And then Leia pops up, and then in runs Luke. And to me, it was a not to be manly and masculinity and toxic or whatever. It was two brothers reuniting.
It was
in that moment, Han and Luke, so much. It was great. That was that. But the one that got me.
Is that also the moment where Luke and Leia hug, and she says, "What is it? I'll tell you later."
And he says, "I'll tell you later." Yeah. So, but my ultimate moment, it's cheesy, and it's not. I am your father. A lot of reasons. So not to get too much into it, my introduction to Star Wars started with Return of the Jedi, and it was one of the few moments I had with my father. It was when he took the helmet off. When he's thrown the Emperor down, he's trying to get him off the Death Star. They stop for a moment to catch his breath, and the whole "take my helmet off" is like, if I do, you'll die. He's like, it's too late. Let me, that whole.
Let me look on you with my own eyes.
Yes, and tell your sister you were right.
You were right.
Yeah,
you were right.
it's right. And then growing up later on down, you learn that George Lucas, the camera was on autopilot, and George Lucas was the boom operator for that because he wanted absolute zero on set during that moment of filming.
Wow.
No one could see Vader without his helmet, except for the people who absolutely had to, like in editing and in post. But it wasn't going to be like everyone involved could just stand over to the side and watch this happen. He wanted an empty, cleared set, so no one could see it. But that's been my big number one moment.
It's so funny because all our number ones were about basically the same moment,
yeah.
Same moment, yeah. The thing about I will say about, because you did mention the Luke, I am your father thing.
So I figured that was our default, right? That was the one we're going to put over here.
The thing is about it, because it's so, and people, no one under our age realizes how huge that was.
Oh yeah.
Nobody, because nowadays that's trope. The I'm your father, that's trope. It was not at the time. At the time, that was mind-blowing. And such a spoiler if you told anybody that Vader was Luke's dad. But, because nowadays, it's not that unusual to see that kind of twist. But at the time, it was huge. No one picked Luke Leia kiss.
Hi, Hal. Hal's quiet the whole time. You know what's even better than the Luke Leia kiss is when Leia says, I knew you were my brother. Somehow I always knew. You did? Did you? Twice? Twice you knew?
My favorite is my favorite off of that scene is whenever someone has gone in and typed in subtitles, right? They do the big smooch there, when he's laying in the hospital bed, and Chewbacca goes, one puts on goes, guys, listen, you really shouldn't be doing,
Right. All right, that was our top 3 this week.
Yes.
And I've got...
top 3 for next week, or next time.
I've got to run.
Suggestions from the... Yub nub.
Jeez.
Michael, I can remember in the Luke, I'm your father, and then him screaming no. I can remember the second time that I saw that movie, because the first time I saw it, I'm right there with Luke. I thought of him going, no, that's impossible, and I'm like, yeah, he's lying to him, and it's right there. And then when I watched it the second time, and he has said, search your feelings, it's true. And he's saying no because it's true.
Because he can feel it.
And I can remember seeing that the second time and going, oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
But of course, the big thing is in Star Wars was not written for him to be his father. Lucas did not, although he tries to say it. No. Vader, when Obi-Wan says, "I knew your father, he was a great pilot when I met him," he was supposed to be dead.
Yes.
That's what Lucas had written. It was only later when other writers came in and went, "You need to do this. You need to drop this bombshell."
Yeah, drop this struggle in there, yeah.
Anyway, you got to go do your thing.
I got to do my thing. I got a thing I got to do. 2 weeks.
All right, you gotta go do your thing. Woo!
Well, not even 2 weeks from tonight.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
We'll have a Discord. We'll have a Patreon party next week.
Yes.
Check our Facebook page. Check our website. If you're not a patron, see what that's all about. Jump on our Patreon so you can jump in there with us where we talk about episode 100 and the road thus far.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you.